Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Taylor Jones, and I have one question to ask you. Do you have any, and I mean any, idea what time it is? If not, let me welcome you to Season 5 of Cold Man's Winter. As I checked my tires, car washed and vacuumed, got me an oil change, filled up, no hassle with or without my bags packed, I'm rolling. Too much struggles, I gotta get going. From being a big jerk, jumping to conclusions to, I can't think of it. Well, it takes time to think. Oh, hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Taylor Jones and I'd like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel, TC Jones Edits, but my YouTube series, Cold Man's Winter. And for those that didn't watch my last episode, don't worry, the link will be in the description bar down below. So what am I doing here? Well, for right now, if you can tell, we're past the middle of the month of March and spring has just begun, but I decided to take the time off to explain that in the society that we're living in, well, it's something that we should talk about, like a big deal. Like when it comes to controversial stuff, I always talk about controversial things and topics. And one topic that I can think of right now is how could I come up with this episode? Oh yes, stereotypes. We're going to talk about stereotypes for episode 14 of Cold Man's Winter Season 5. Now, when you think about stereotypes, you think about a lot of issues, controversial issues like I mentioned, like why white people have more success than black people, why Asians have taken over their job opportunities than the Chinese. It's been going on for years, and I think I'm getting tired of it. Everybody's been fed up. But the number one stereotype that always gets my attention, that really hurts me, is how women, they are smarter and men are stupid. But I don't think that it'd be fair to side between men and women, because stereotypical issues, stereotypical behaviors, they lead to a lot of abuse, a lot of fighting, and worse, sinful deeds that nobody wants to think about, especially when it comes to 9mm guns. Mama just killed a man, pulled a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. And based on the last episode, I talked about that one song that I remember from Two Guns, starring Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington. That song has been stuck in my mind, mostly the chorus, when I said, one. I get the feeling that it's two against one. But it's not just for me, but for anyone. The mirror is the trigger and your mouth's a gun. I get the feeling I'm not the only one. Women believe that, men believe that. But what about the children? A lot of children have been stereotyped between geeks and nerds being jumped by bullies, jocks. And even in college, the people that died from being hazed by fraternities and sororities, why do the jocks, the frats, the sororities, why they have to be the jerks? Why do they always have to have a tough macho, head honcho, the baddest chick type vibe, doing something that's going to lead to somebody getting hurt? And it's kind of like that old 90s movie Jawbreaker, where there's three teenage girls. They're supposed to be like seniors, cheerleaders, and the leader of the pack, he had this idea to kill an innocent teenage girl, and they were all white. But in the end, there was another teenage female that decided to put a stop to this. And in the end of the movie, while they were at the school dance, like a prom or something, the girl that planned to put a stop to it had some assistance. And they went to, they sneak in the principal's office and tried to find the confession that was on tape. The confession tape, and played it on the intercom. Well, they found a way to attach the sound to the microphone, where the head supreme, the queen supreme, that was crowned with a tiara, was making a speech that the so-called confession was echoed through the microphone that the head supreme, the queen, was speaking to. And then all of a sudden, her whole world ended. As in, a lot of people started to hate on her, scream at her. Even Tatiana Ali from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, she got mad. These slow motion and insulting words and boos and hisses and curse words like, "You mother effer," or should I just say in plain clean edition, clean words, "You double crosser." And yes, for a female to kill an innocent teenager, to be exposed by a confession tape echoing throughout the school dance, to have the worst picture taken, as in, who done it? Well, we finally found the criminal. And the movie ended like case closed. But when we individuals, black individuals, get stereotyped, look, we've been stereotyped since the days when we were sent from Africa to America to be under the plantations and follow the rules. Because if we didn't, we would get killed, whipped to death. And we were too far off, ruined. 400 years we were ruined. But some of us fought back. But even though some of us, we escaped the slave ships, we ended up dying because we couldn't swim, or we were thrown overboard. But man, there's nothing more we can do but accept the pain and the struggle that's been keeping us hurt. From slave ships to working at the plantations to nowadays what we call jail. I mean, back in the 30s, we were in the chain gangs, as Sam Cooke once sung, but it made me think of that movie Life, where Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence had to wear striped suits, work out in the hot sun, with police officers riding on horses with shotguns, trying to make sure that everybody's doing right. No one quits. You have to work up a black sweat and work till their bones break. Nowadays, jails are overpacked. But it's not just for black folks, because we black folks have been humiliated. We have been ridiculed for a crime we didn't commit. We were even blamed for somebody else's murder from a different type of race. We've been blamed for a type of abuse, sexual abuse, because we have to deal with powerful father figures and mothers who would recommend us to stay away from their children. But dig this. Being stereotyped has been the main cause of some suicides, some depression, some lies and gossip being spread all over the world. Rumors, newspapers, social media. It's like, I'm tired of stereotypes. And based on the slaves getting whipped to death, it's kind of like that same abuse for the slaves to disrespect the masters. It's the same thing for kids to deal with issues. And because of the spanking laws that passed and how it was done, what race do you think led to that? Led to the so-called whooping laws, spanking laws, as if to be abolished? Well, black folks. But that's not true. Being stereotyped over race, being stereotyped over gender. Ku Klux Klan can't stand black folks. Ku Klux Klan can't stand homosexuals or Asians, Mexicans. This is too much to handle. And it's the same race war, the same stereotype that has something to do with Hitler. But I tell you, the Jews versus Gentiles from the Holocaust is too much. Mein Kampf means my struggle, but it's worse than that. We've been dealing with a lot of stereotypes. I just don't think it was meant to happen. But I do know one thing. Stereotypes began in the very beginning of time, when it became known between the Jews and the Gentiles during the time when Jesus was on planet Earth, walking, teaching the truth, speaking from his Father, his Heavenly Father that sent him down, and to do what God expected him to do. And he was the perfect soul to be humiliated later on in life, to be arrested, and this was like after taking the Last Supper. But what's funny is, later on, the same feeling that Jesus had to face, the same moment that Jesus had to face, it made me think of Martin Luther King's final speech in Memphis, Tennessee on April the 3rd, 1968. And next month, it'll mark the 56th anniversary. April 3rd, 2024, 4/3/24. 56 years of I've seen the mountaintops. Now, for me to compare Jesus' Last Supper to Martin Luther King's last speech, because the very next day, we all know Martin Luther King died. Martin Luther King died from a gunshot wound to the face. Jesse Jackson was out in the balcony along with him at the Lorraine Motel. The criminal was arrested. He had to serve life, and he died of old age.
and health issues. But for Jesus, he was arrested. He was sent to, I think, the Roman government, where Pilate, Pilate, was asked to if he know about Jesus. So Pilate had to lie because he's part of the Roman government. And he's like, get rid of him. So they punished him, whipped him with like razor blade type, piercing his back, pierced his back, crown of thorns placed on his head, that the Gentiles even mocked him, laughed at him, spat on him, hit him, smite him. And Jesus felt the pain. You know, the hate that Jesus had on the day when he was crucified and being laughed at and being called King of the Jews, that's the same type of stereotype that everybody has to struggle with on a daily basis in this day and age. To the fact that Jesus, when he had to get pierced and laid on the cross, he had two people that was crucified alongside of him. To hurt, to suffer no more. To say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they have done. To Heavenly Father, it is done, and died. 6 hours after hanging on the cross, dying, then placed in the tomb. But on Sunday, 3 days, the 3-day resurrection, he was gone, alive, fresh out the tomb. And all the haters, all the people that ridiculed Jesus, they found out the hard way when they spotted him. I thought he was dead. That's impossible. Impossible. It really happened. They spotted him. And he meant what he said when he said he will come back soon. And he ascended to the heavens. So all the people that mocked him, crucified him, they found out quick that Jesus Christ was nothing to fool with. And he meant his promise. But nowadays, people still believe that some things are about to happen. The so-called solar eclipse and the the bad weather that we had, is like a sign of the last days, the signs of the times, as Prince was saying. Bionics said, these are the last days. Get ready for this new world order. And dealing with stereotypes, it's like, brothers and sisters, we need to get our 40 acres and a mule. The white man did this, the white man did that. But what about the brother man that turned on the other man? Black on black crimes. And the main thing about that is because for black men, it was all over a black chick. It's all over a gang color. It's all over some dope rims and some tennis shoes. And crisscross, he even had to spell that out for you back in 92, 93. It's a shame. we blacks have been hurting our own race. To the fact that Public Enemy had a little skit on the Apocalypse 91 album, The Enemy Strikes Black, Public Enemy. Howdy y'all, this is Bernie Crosshouse, yours truly from the KKK, Grand Wizard of KKK. And the part of, to all you gangs, hoodlums, drug pushers, and users, and other worthless Negroes killing each other, we'd like to thank y'all for saving us the time and trouble of vanishing all in the face of the earth. So keep selling us your soul. Thank you. That's messed up. But too many hints are being thrown at us like darts. A lot of jabs, a lot of punches in the face, a lot of blows, a lot of bullets. It's kind of like the same thing when it came to the movie Hoodlum. A black mafia, black mobs against the Italian mobs. Bumpy Johnson versus Dutch Schultz, Lucky Luciano, and all that type stuff. But Dutch was the main enemy for Bumpy. I mean, in the movie, Bumpy and Lucky, they came together and they tried to find a way to take out Dutch Schultz. And the driver, the chauffeur, had to tell the truth. And he got paid for the hard work that he did. And he was threatened. If he lied, Caesar was going to get his death wish. But Bub, played by the late Clarence Williams III, who was known for being Bumpy Johnson. He played Bumpy Johnson, and I didn't know that he did that in many different movies. Lawrence Fishburne killed the Bumpy Johnson role. Bub gave Cecil some money, as in, good job, Cecil, a present from Bumpy Johnson. Because a lot of people know that Bumpy was doing the most for the black communities, even if he had to face other racial mobsters. And man, to be stereotyped based on race, and like others being stereotyped for the crimes committed and genders, like men versus women, the battle of the sexes, is getting so dang lame in 2024. Mom versus dad, son versus parents, daughter versus parents, brother versus sisters, sisters versus brothers. Come on. Instead of dissing each other, having beef, why can't we just get along? Can we just all get along? No. It's not easy, but somebody's got to do it. For the Lord is watching our every movement, so stop living in this stupid stereotype. The battle of the sexes. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. You know what I'm saying? Stop stereotyping everything. No matter how old you are, how young you are. No matter what race, what gender, what sexuality, what religion. Stop it. But God has the final say. I mean, to be stereotyped. And that song, another song that stood out that I can't get my mind off of, was by the man that we all know and love, Mr. Can We Talk, Tevin Campbell. when he brought up Uncle Sam. He's supposed to be like a America's caricature. If we had Uncle Sam, then we had the Lady Liberty. Liberty, 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 liberty. No, we're not doing Liberty Mutual. Only pay for what you need. I'm talking about the Statue of Liberty, the Lady Liberty. The lady had a torch. She walks. She was the original Columbia Pictures logo. But unfortunately, they had to change the female with the lady with the torch with the American flag. They made her in a different color. Come to think of it, that's stereotyping. We've been dealing with stereotypes, even in the movies, even in TV shows. We hear about stereotypes in music, but we face stereotypes every day. When we're on the road, when we're at work, school, everywhere we go. No escape. But back to Tevin Campbell. Uncle Sam. I want you in the army. And I remember Lorenz Tate finding a piece of paper on dead presidents while he was in the Vietnam War. It said, "Black man, go home. This ain't your war." War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. But for real. Tevin. I'm your nephew. Yes, it's true. Well, can you hear me, Uncle Sam? Can I sit upon your bended knee just like the other men? Didn't I die in Vietnam? Didn't I walk in Birmingham? I'm your nephew. Yes, it's true. Well, can you hear me, Uncle Sam? Was Uncle Sam really selfish? Self-centered? The Tevin Campbell and Prince that wrote this down, yes, because it's kind of like comparing Uncle Sam to be the voice of America, but instead Americans have flaws. Now that's a perfect stereotype that we don't want to hear. But it's true. We've been dealing with stereotypes for so long that we start to turn on each other. Chucky Booker said we turned away from love. We turned away from God. We turned away from hearing the truth. We expose each other. We get mad. We hate ourselves. Hate each other. To the fact that we have to deal with being banned or exiled. This deception, disgrace. But earlier I talked about the slave ships. Tevin Campbell said, "Didn't I sell the water against my every will? Didn't I fetch the water when your bucket needed a refill? Where was all the water when the fire was burning up the cross? I'm your nephew. Yes, it's true. Oh, hear me, Mr. Boss. Didn't I get all good grades in school, like A's? Oh, yes, I did now, Uncle Sam. My books did not have any covers, but still, I did the best that I can. How come I can't get a job? I just don't understand. Don't you love me anymore? Oh, tell me, Uncle Sam." Another stereotype brought up. Black people can't get a job. Akon even referenced that on I Am Not My Hair. All because of some dreadlocks. I cannot get a job. I Am Not My Hair. India Ari and Convict Music's very own Akon. A song that stood out for black folks dealing with hair changes that a lot of people don't understand, then they won't even accept it. Former Former WBBJ7 meteorologist Corrales Ortiz was another individual. It's like she got cyberbullied for wearing her curly natural afro for a Latina. That was a big pain in the butt. And for women, black women or Latino women, to deal with hair policies that's too preppy. Like, you have to wear your hair pressed, and like you can't even handle the rules. What's wrong with wearing natural hair? They claim that our hair will be nappy, like mine. All you gotta do is press. I mean, it's kind of like the same thing that we had to deal with. We went from conch hairstyles to afros. You know, a lot of people change after the years, but stereotypes, they still remain the same. It's like, where do we go from here? But then, back to Tevin. I lived the life a citizen is supposed to. So I gotta be the illegitimate nephew. You remember me, Uncle Sam, I fought your wars and going out not knowing what I was fighting for. Sam, why'd you let them rape my great-grandmother, then go to the oak tree to hang her brother, back when Abe, as in Abraham Lincoln, was slaving? There wasn't no fuss. But where was you when they were in my yard burning the cross? Do you love me or what, Uncle Sam? What is it? You want to maim me and claim the Grand Wizard? The Ku Klux Klan reference. I let that pass and marched for a just cause and got uncivilized rights with unenforced laws. I passed your curriculums and got a diploma, but still can't get a job because my skin has color. You say things change between now and then. But now I want to know the difference between me and him, me and the other man. But for real, to deal with being stereotyped, white folks get stereotyped too. And this is more than on entertainment. This is real life struggles. From the low standards, the low class, along with the middle and high. And I wonder why. Why would the high class make fun of the low class? Because they got riches and they do not know what to do with it but spend it on themselves and the loved ones. Gimme, gimme, gimme. To the fact that Sir Mix-a-Lot made a song back in '92 about swap meet Louie. Going to the swap meet to find an Asian by the name of Mary Pong to sell fake Louis Vuittons. The fake Louis Vuittons. And whenever a customer tries to bring it back, like a file a complaint, she got a Desert Eagle 38. She ain't hesitant, but she ain't playing no games. Look, for Sir Mix-a-Lot to make a song about an Asian woman that sells fake Louis Vuittons at a swap meet, it's kind of like somewhat of a reference to an Asian woman in the convenience store that ended up killing a black teenage girl by the name of Latasha Harlins. And that was one of the reasons why the South Central LA riots of 1992 took place. Another reason was the infamous Rodney King incident. 4 police officers indicted, not guilty, after beating a black man driving drunk on a Hyundai. That even Cedric the Entertainer had to bring that up on Barbershop when they talked about, well, black history. As in, who the heck is Rosa Parks? Rosa Parks ain't did nothing but sit her black tail down. Ronnie King should have had his butt beaten, from being pulled over drunk in a Hyundai. 2, OJ did it. And 3, Rosa Parks ain't do nothing but sit her black tail down. But the part that really got a lot of people wondering was when Checker Fred told Eddie to keep on walking, and I let you know, you better not let Jesse Jackson hear you say anything like that. Eddie looked at Checker Fred and said, "Man, F Jesse Jackson." Everybody reacted, oh, just laughing and going, oh no, he didn't. But for real, when Eddie said that, was Jesse Jackson really a sellout? Was he an Uncle Tom? Look, there's another thing that irks me. When people decide to call people a sellout, they had to come up with a term. And they said Uncle Tom. Well, from an old Facebook post that I read a long time ago, the term Uncle Tom was not considered a sellout. No, not really. There was another term that means sellout, like a traitor, a Benedict Arnold. And that name alone was Sambo, Sambo, and Sambo was his name, because in real life there was a real Uncle Tom by the name of Josiah Henson. He was Uncle Tom during the slave days. A black man. He saved a lot of slaves from getting whooped by putting additional cotton gin in their bags. Just cotton in their bags while they were asleep. And he ended up leaving slavery. He became an abolitionist. Now that's crazy. A real Uncle Tom, a slave by the nickname of Uncle Tom, to prevent the slaves to be murdered or whooped over some cotton. Now that was smart. It's like you gained your whole life to save somebody from getting hurt. But a Sambo, he's the one that would betray and fall for the wrong crowd. And the wrong crowd kills the innocent man. Now that's a sellout move right there. To sell out for money, sell out for fortune and fame. You're a Sambo. And I'd be darned for that to be my name, first, middle, or last name. And the same Sambo caricature that the late MF Doom was against. Him and his short-lived rap group of the early 90s, KMD, Causing Much Damage, well known for Peach Fuzz. By the hairs of my chinny chin, count many plus plenty, string by string, I think I count like 20. If you only loan me an ear, I'm a turn of interest. Now use your imagination, just a smidgen. If I was a bird, I'd be a pigeon. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. MF Doom and his little brother DJ Subrock, another member of KMD. And shout out to Onyx the Birthstone Kid, by the way. But yo. Now the Sambo caricature is like KMD was against him. But for the second album, that's when Elektra Records was not pleased. They were not pleased with the album title or the album cover. When a Sambo was getting lynched, a Sambo, a traitor, a Benedict Arnold, a sellout, getting lynched. And the game of Hangman caused controversy, leading to MF Doom being dropped from Elektra. The album was shelved, but after being homeless for a couple of years, MF Doom came back to the rap game and took revenge and released the shelved second album of KMD on his own. It's kind of like to be humiliated. And that was another perfect example of stereotypes. When the record label drops you easily like a fly because your records didn't sell or you disrespected the standards based on your albums. It's kind of like the same thing that the late Lachelle Marie Laws, aka Boss, had to deal with, because she was the first female MC signed to Def Jam West. Nikki D was the first female MC signed to Def Jam, period. But being exposed for the past upbringings that even included a little hint that Boss was not a gangster, thanks to her mother for bringing up the past. Catholic school dance, tap dance and jazz, to being a cheerleader and living in the middle class, to be exposed in 1994. And after her exposure hit the fans, Def Jam West had to let her go, never to release another song or album, any release. Now that's depression. It's like women can't do it. Some women stood their ground and took over the rap game. Jackie Robinson stood out to be one of the iconic baseball players of all times, even though a white baseball player, Pee Wee Reese, kept him company. For Jackie to be called a Negro and disrespected by a lot of people. The first black man to play MLB. Man, that's too much. And for those that watched that Sweetwater movie, how a basketball star started off as a Harlem Globetrotter to play for the New York Knicks. There was one scene that got my attention, that he was ridiculed, as in he contained a foul. What foul was that? When he dunked the ball. What? That's a stereotype. Like, a black man got penalized for dunking, which was not typical thing in basketball at the time. This was the 50s and 60s. Straight from Harlem Globetrotters to the NBA. Man, I just wish that stereotypes can go away. Don't y'all think so? But some people don't want to give it up. Like a Confederate battle flag, nobody want to give that up yet. a 40 ounce of beer. Not one black man want to give that up yet. Come on. Come on. Diamonds and pearls. Women don't want to give that up. Video games. Some gamers don't want to give that up. But if you got no other option and people are starting to leave you, what's the stereotype in that? Your selfishness. That's what it is. You gotta give it up. Give up the goods. Mobb Deep featuring Big Noid. From coast to coast to give up the ghost. Immature with Busy Bone. Give it up, baby. Tracy Lee. But for real, with stereotypes going around, hatred has been building up, racism, deceitfulness, selfishness. And I even had to deal with that my dang self, because I felt like there were times that I felt dumb. Somebody told me to do one thing and I did the other. Someone get mad because of my actions, and then I get mad. Vulgarity has been built up to a T. The world has been stereotyped. I always stereotype the world based on one thing. The only stereotype I can think of is this. Now, how do I stereotype my life, my world? I stereotype the world for many reasons. To compare to the entertainment business and see where we go from here. If it was an album, it'll be parentally advised with explicit content, formerly known as explicit lyrics, but the world got vulgar. Language got vulgar. Drug use, sex, violence. It was a TV show rated TVMA, mature. Movie rated R, restricted. Video game rated M for mature. It's kind of like every black man, white man, Asian man, Indian or Native American they have a purpose, they have a life, but they all have to deal with stereotypes thrown at them based on nicknames and slurs and what they do for a living that people don't like, and they want to jab at them with the biggest lie, even if it was true, no matter where they're from. It's kind of like we've been stereotyped as if we were not meant to be here for long. Each set sold separately, batteries not included. Part of a complete breakfast. You know what I'm saying? But if we were drinks, please drink responsibly. No. We can only be humans. We're only humans. But we gotta know when to let the stereotype mindsets that we have in our heads let them go. Some of us don't like the fact that anyone with tattoos, anyone with dreads or piercings, they get the most attention. Driving the dopest car with the strangest rims, referring to slabs. Are slabs more important than Daytons? Are slabs more important than the spokes and vogues, like the trues and vogues? what what's important. Like our colorful weaves and like for women, colorful weaves more popular than natural hair. A lot of stereotypes, a lot of years have passed. We can't win. And like Nas, you can hate me now, but I won't stop now. But look at what happened. Nas had some idea to come up with his daughter to be an executive producer for one of his albums. And later on, a few years past, 20 plus years later, after Stillmatic, his daughter got some checks, royalty checks, that'll be eligible to help her get through college. Smart move, Nas. Family matters. Family matters. But we always have player haters, critics, more than the late Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. We had, and of course, if y'all remember in Living Color, Damon Wayans and David Alan Grier played homosexual critics. And whenever they have to talk about scenes with women or movies, anything that has women all over their book, hated it. But stereotypes, they won't cease to go away yet. When it's obvious, it's around us for the rest of our lives. Even when our caskets drop, there's nothing more we can do. But I'd rather be stereotyped as a legend, a smart man, a powerful voice for the African American communities, to the Latino, the Mexican communities, to Asians. I want to spread my words, my rhythm, my rhymes, my poetry all over the land, than to be called Negro this, Negro that, N-word this, with the hard R, or, but as we black folks would say, with the A at the end, as in Atlanta. Because the N-word with the hard R, we have been stereotyped that to the fact that Cedric the Entertainer on Be Cool, he was fed up with the N-word. That he killed the Russian. So don't tell me be cool. Boom. I am cool. Boom, boom. Be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you wish for, because you're going to fool around and get it. Now that's a perfect stereotype type message. Before you get caught up, you got to be careful what you ask for. Careful what you wish for. Because you're going to fool around and get it. And my word is bond. So, with all that being said, thank you for paying close attention, watching another episode of Cold Man's Winter, episode 14. The stereotypes. You just gotta think. Think about what you're doing. And like I said, the link to the last episode will be in the description bar down below. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the notification bell, and there will be more in stores. And this episode has been brought to you by Sweet Lady of the Week. Now, because of stereotypes, I realized that women, no matter what race, they don't deserve to be hurt They don't deserve to be ruined. But there are a couple sweet ladies in my mind that I can show my gratitude to. So this episode of Stereotypes from Cold Man's Winter Season 5 has been brought to you by not just one, but two sweet ladies of the week. Who are these sweet ladies, Taylor? Terry Warren and Timberly Harbor. And to Terry and Timberly, I decided to dedicate this recognition to both of you. But then again, no, let me make that three sweet ladies. So who's the third one, Taylor? Ashley Gerald. Terry Warren, Timberly Harbor, and Ashley Gerald. This episode is for all of you. Sweet ladies. Not one, not two, but three. Once, twice, three times a lady. I love you. The Commodores. And with all that being said, this is yours truly, Taylor Jones, signing out. Let's stop these stereotypes before they get out of hand.